AI him in the snow.
I could be looking like this going, oh my gosh, look at the snow. Happy New Year! We are back. It seems ages ago, doesn't it? It seems like we're way out. So we've got campers, we've got a little base camp. It's a little base camp 6. We'll have a quick look in that. We're going to have a quick look through some of the vans. Potentially, we've got lots of snow. So it's forecast for last night and today to be really bad with snow. So something that we want to make sure with the van is that sometimes you can be tempted to sort of try and clear the snow off the caravan, off the windows, but what you can end up doing is scratching the windows. So just be careful if you're looking to get the snow off the caravans, if it has snowed of course. Just so that you're not sort of scratching the paintwork or the windows on the caravan if you're trying to get the snow off of there. Really, you can just let it be. Just let it be. But we'll touch some more little tips as we go around of things that we just want to make sure is right and what to do and what not to do with the caravan with the snow. So nice 6 berth. This is all these seats fold up, so these literally fold up fully, and then this big front area is a big storage area, same at the back, so all of our bunk beds go away. We've then got loads of storage. We've got straps on the floor so we can put bikes in, canoes in, proper adventure caravan this one. And then even our little storage bags, we can go shopping with these. I don't think I really want to go shopping with them, but actually for taking,
it in the car, take it to the beach.
Yeah, you can sort of take these out and put them into the back of the car. They've got little zips on as well, so you can get to them easier from the front. So really cool, functional van. And again, decent washroom, got all your heating, hot and cold water as normal. So you'll notice that our sort of shower heads have been taken off, and again, that's for making sure that with this drain down for the winter, that everything's drained down, everything's fully completely drained, so hopefully we don't get any cracked taps or broken pipes or anything like that. But again, what can sometimes happen is we can get bits of water stick within the pipe work, and we can get pipes that'll push apart. So most of the sort of fittings within the caravan are push fittings. So just in the bottom of this one, if I get my little light on.
Oh, it's dark in here.
Yeah, I'll put the light on and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And I'm not just talking a load of nonsense, as normal. So underneath of the bottom there, at the very bottom, you can hopefully see those little white connectors. They're literally just push fit connectors. So what tends to happen is that the water, even though you've drained the system down, and this is why before Christmas we were saying about using the flow system to blow all the water out of the system. If we just drain the caravan down normal, because a lot of people says, I'll just drain it down normal, I've never had a problem, it's not an issue. What can then sometimes happen is in the lowest points like that, the water sits in there, and then when the frost does come, it can just push the pipes open. So when we do look at actually putting the water back through the caravan, we want to be very mindful that we could have a push fit connector that's pushed out and we get a water flood in the caravan. So we have got to be careful of that happening. We're going on a little 2 berth tour here for some reason. So just something just to bear in mind. Obviously, if you're not using the caravan, it's absolutely pointless now running water system through the caravan. Don't bother sort of putting water back on at the minute if you're not going to be using it. If you are using the caravan, then obviously we still need to be keeping the water through. And then normally with just the heat, if you are in the caravan and you're using it, the heat in the caravan will stop the water system within the caravan freezing up and causing you problems. We did have an issue the other day that it was too cold for the fridge to work.
On
so
gas?
The fridge, on gas and electric, so it was so cold that actually the fridge was like, I just don't want to light up on gas because it feels like I'm already lit. So we couldn't actually light a fridge up on gas. It was all working fine, but it just wouldn't actually light up. It would sort of go onto the pilot light, but wouldn't actually kick in and work properly. So
what about the electric then?
the electric was okay and was okay, but again, the issue that we sometimes can get is when we've got a lot of power on, we can get issues with your electric items in the caravan. So again, if you go to a campsite and it's quite busy and it's really cold and everybody's using all of the heating, all of the hot water, and the site is pulling lots of electric and it's a bit overloaded, you can get a drop down of power, and that can create problems then with low voltages on your heating systems, your fridges, your water system, on the water heater, etc. So if you do get if you're using the caravan and you do get sort of a power issue where it seems, oh, like I've got a bit of a warning here saying that it's normally the fridges and the heating systems that will do it, where they say, or they'll come up with a warning and it'll say that you've got a low power, a power drop. It can literally just be because of the time of year. So don't automatically, if you've gone to a site and you've got issues on one site and you've never had that issue before, sort of the way that you can do it is say, right, I'll turn the heating system off, I'll turn the fridge off, I'll just try the hot water system and try individual systems then, and that then, if it is a voltage drop, that will sort of let you know that it is a voltage drop, and then running the items individually. So turn off your heating and hot water, run the fridge, turn off the fridge, just run the heating, turn off the heating and the fridge, run the hot water. Hopefully that makes sense, and that'll give you an indication that if it is a power drop due to the site, if all the individual items are working in the caravan just one at a time, it points that it is potentially a power drop. So that can happen when it goes really cold and there's lots of people on the site, and it just throws a spanner into the works, unfortunately. Main thing at the minute is obviously heating. Everybody, when it gets temperature like this, wants the heating, and that can create other problems of condensation. So a lot of vans have got breather boards like this.
Oh, I always wondered what that was for.
So yeah, so that keeps your cushions away from the wall and then stops the condensation. Same with the mattresses, same with the beds. But some caravans haven't got your breather boards on, and that will then lead to an issue where you've got contact from a warmer surface to a colder surface effectively, and that is then what creates our condensation. So
is that some models or the older ones?
Yeah, a bit of a mix. I saw on a Facebook group somebody with a fairly newish Swift. So this has got breather boards. Again, this is something that happens on a lot of Elvises and Coachmans. These blinking...
Oh gosh, this is like not very old either.
It is, it's 17 I think.
Gosh, yeah, it doesn't look that old
no,
inside,
it's a really nice, clean, tidy van. But these little bits curling up, and the best way to solve that is just to buy a new strip of this. If you take a picture and then have a Google search, you can get replacement and just actually replace them. In 12 months you'll probably need to do the same again.
So they just stick on or iron?
Yeah, they just literally stick on. Sometimes you can use your iron just to sort of put those back on, but again, that's not really a job that you want to be doing now, because again, you'll put new ones on. It's quite damp within the caravan anyway, which is why I like the moisture traps, because I know people say they create damp in the caravan, but actually it draws the moisture out of all of your cushions and everything like that, and it will just make the wallboarding a little bit drier. So if you're trying to stick something down at the minute, just because of the moisture in the air, it's not really going to work. So don't try and attempt jobs like that now this time of year. Again, sort of your heat, if you've got the caravan at home on the drive, just a little oil-fired radiator within the caravan can help stop your condensation. And
well, you just plug it into the mains, wouldn't you, and put it on the...
Yeah, well, so again, this is my argument why I don't like running. That heating system isn't designed to run
constantly
24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. So if it was me, I'd like a little oil-fired radiator. Who was that?
There's a little fairy just flying past with her magic wand, doing lots of nice videos.
So, yeah, for me, I sort of would prefer, this has got breather boards as well. It was a van like this, and I'm sure it got the newer wallboarding, but it hadn't got breather boards on for some reason.
The Swift,
and they've got condensation, really bad condensation as well at the back of the these front seats. But yeah, that's why I prefer a oil-fired radiator in the van, and that can then just middle of the caravan, sort of in the middle, couple of moisture traps, just ticking over on low, and that will just keep the van really, really nice and in the best possible condition. Sprite Major 4 EB, so this is a special edition again, this one. 19,995, just under 20 grand, 2022. So as I say, with the snow, again, if the doors and things have iced up, if your lockers have iced up, don't try and force them. There's a good chance that if sort of catches and things like that have iced up to the point where you're not able to open them, just leave them. If it's that cold, get inside in front of the TV and the fire, and don't worry about it really. That's your best bet. Nice little Sprite Alpine 2. So again, we've covered a few little 2-berths in this one. This is probably the cheaper mid-range 2-berth that we've got at the minute. 8,995. Nice little end washroom. So again, I'm hoping that everybody that's watched our videos from before is up and on with the draining down. So hence why I've mentioned draining down, but I've not really gone into it too much details.
This should have been done a long time.
Yeah, it should. Now. Yeah, it should. This year, we had a stupendously good November. December was pretty good, and then January started off with a bang already. So our sold board is already full. So I feel that we are in for a good year, and I feel that a big part of why we're in for a good year was because of last year, because we had a good summer, didn't we?
It is.
So yeah, I feel that that's sort of going to help things through, and give us a really good year on the sales this year. Nice side dinette, so again, really good layout for families, 2 berths, newcomers into the market. Nice big washroom at the back.
Oh,
so
massive.
This sort of layout ticks a box for a lot of people, where, as I say, if it's a 2-berth, you can make that bed up at the front, you've got a nice little seating area. If it's a 4-berth, you've got your bunk beds on the side there, you've still got a nice washroom. So it's a versatile layout, probably the most traditional layout that we've got. This and the 2-berth are the real proper traditional layouts that are on the market. Couple of twin axles, so we had a good look through most of the vans before Christmas on our video. I'll try and get that popping up now, but we didn't really look in that many twin axles, so that we've got this one at 14,995. This has got aircon, 13,995. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's gracious. In the sale.
Yeah, 13,995. So this has got domestic aircon. You don't need that now, but through the summer, hopefully, if we have a good summer again, that's going to be required, and again becoming more of a usable item. Whereas you sort of used to think aircon in the caravan. Are you joking? You've got to be having a laugh, haven't you? Nice big fridge freezer, nice fixed bed, nice layout, this one.
Yeah, it's nice for you could sight this nicely.
Yeah,
couldn't you?
yeah. Again, I got stick for sort of saying that you should go for a twin axle for sighting. I think that you should. I think if you're paying for a sight and you're going to leave your caravan on there, why not go for as big as possible? I know that doesn't suit everybody, but I don't know. For me, it just doesn't make sense having a tiny little 2-berth on a big pitch, because you're paying for the pitch. So,
you don't get smaller and bigger pitches, do you, generally? No. It's normally just one size fits all.
Yeah, on a seasonal pitch. So, again, nice Bailey Barcelona.
No, I like these big cupboards in these Baileys.
Nice big storage cupboards in this one. And they're all the way through. And then
nice big drawers in the kitchen.
Oh, we've got big drawers out. And then you've got a big fridge. Nice big bed. It flows really well again, this one, doesn't it? So this is like the newer version of that Swift that we're in next door to there.
Is this bigger than that one next door?
18995. About the same size, yes.
Of course, it feels bigger inside.
Most of your twin axles are going to be about 26 foot from very front to very, very back. So yeah, they're all very, very similar size. But yeah, again, just literally just down to the layout. Bailey, lose your front locker, so again that gives you a bit more room up the front, so it does make it feel a lot bigger. And again, 18995 for 2019. Nice one, this one.
Isabel's following you around.
Is she? Lovely motorhome. So that was the Bailey autograph. Come on, we'll have a look. We'll have a look. Oh dear. A really, really nice two-berth motorhome. Now it can sleep 4 people, but we've only got 2 travelling seat belts. So again, really nice, big kitchen area, nice fixed bed, and then we've got it's a side washroom, but it's still a separate shower and toilet. So it works really, really well. Nice layout, this one. Again, really good for sort of touring around.
Plain lockers on.
Yeah, nice big lockers again.
Like the shape of them.
Huge, massive, absolutely massive. So yeah, big lockers again. Sunday's video.
You've got like a good hob as well, and oven there.
Yeah, it's all again. I've said this before about the UK motorhomes. They're built to the UK market, which is more what we're used to, is proper ovens, grill. Is that a combined grill though?
It's combined, but it's proper size, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah, it is a big one. And then proper hob, and we've got the electric ring as well, and we've got a microwave that's in a usable position as well. So I do like the UK stuff. Just I think they're set up for us better. So on Sunday's video, we did a little Facebook thing on our Facebook page about retiring in your caravan. So we're going to have a look at the pros and the cons, and I don't know, it just seemed a lot of people were interested in that. So that's Sunday's video, so that's coming up then. Hopefully this snow, this imaginary snow, if we have had a big dump,
somebody needs to AI you in the snow.
Yeah, somebody, Isabel, that's your thing.
AI him in the snow.
I could be looking like this, going, oh my gosh, look at the snow. So that yeah, hopefully we've not got too much snow and too much of a covering, but if we have, hopefully it's the weekend and we can enjoy it a little bit. As I say, don't be tempted to try and get all the snow off your windows and whatever, you'll end up possibly scratching them. And again, sometime soon we'll look at sort of getting the caravan in the ready state to actually use, and that'll include polishing all your windows and how to get little scratches and things like that again, so we'll cover that soon. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark at the Caravan Place, and we'll see you then. Don't forget, hit subscribe as well. So thanks for watching.